Welcome to World Prism. The world doesn't pause and neither do we. Get the unfiltered flow of breaking news, essential global updates, and the deep insights that transform information into true foresight. If it matters, you'll find the complete spectrum here. Ready to see the world clearly? Smash that subscribe button and turn on the notifications. America's gun laws are undergoing a seismic shift, reshaping the landscape of rights and responsibilities for citizens and lawmakers alike. With landmark court decisions and sweeping new executive policies, decades of established regulation are being upended, leaving many to question what comes next. The very foundation of federal firearm law is being challenged like never before, creating a confusing and often contradictory patchwork of rules that vary dramatically from state to state. At the center of this upheaval is a dramatic reinterpretation of the Second Amendment, as recent Supreme Court rulings now force the government to provide historical justification for any restriction on gun rights. This new legal standard has triggered a wave of lawsuits and legal battles over everything from age limits on gun ownership to the very core of the National Firearms Act, a law that has shaped American gun policy for nearly a century. The stakes are high, with real and immediate consequences for millions of Americans, gun owners, families, and communities across the nation. The upheaval is driven by a complex web of agency rulemaking, pivotal court cases, and a sharp political turn after the 2024 election. Isolated events, an ATF rule, a circuit court injunction, a Supreme Court decision, have converged into a perfect storm, fundamentally altering the legal landscape. As of September 2025, the future of federal gun control is more unpredictable than ever, with the Department of Justice now retreating from defending regulations it once championed, and uncertainty growing by the day. Activist groups on both sides are pushing harder than ever, some for broader deregulation, even targeting foundational laws like the NFA, while others fight to preserve existing safeguards. This video unpacks the key legal battles, the Supreme Court's new standard, and what these seismic shifts mean for every American now and in the years to come. The stabilizing pistol brace, designed for disabled shooters, became a flashpoint in the gun debate. For years, the ATF said attaching a brace to a pistol didn't make it a short-barreled rifle, allowing millions to be sold. That changed in 2023, when the Biden administration's ATF reclassified braced pistols as short-barreled rifles, instantly implicating millions of owners under the NFA. Owners faced a choice: register, modify, or destroy their firearms, or risk felony charges. Gun owners and advocacy groups called it unconstitutional overreach, arguing the ATF was making law without Congress. Critics said the rules' criteria were vague, making compliance nearly impossible. The core question: can an agency unilaterally reinterpret a statute and criminalize millions overnight? This controversy set the stage for high-stakes legal challenges testing the limits of executive power and the Second Amendment. Lawsuits against the pistol brace rule erupted nationwide, but two cases stood out. In August 2023, the Fifth Circuit's Mock v. Garland found the ATF's rule likely unlawful, citing procedural failures and vagueness. The Eighth Circuit's Frack v. Garland echoed this, calling the rule arbitrary and impossible for regular citizens to follow. These rulings signaled that the ATF's authority was not unlimited and its process was deeply flawed. After the Fifth Circuit's decision, a district court granted summary judgment against the rule, a decisive win for gun owners. The government appealed, but momentum had shifted. The courts made clear agencies can't reverse years of guidance and criminalize millions without clear congressional authority. The Mock and Frack decisions put the government on the defensive, forcing it to justify both the rule and its process. This legal pressure was soon compounded by a dramatic political shift in Washington. The landscape shifted dramatically with President Trump's inauguration in January 2025, marking a new era for federal policy. The mood in Washington was one of anticipation, as many wondered how the new administration would approach controversial regulations. Fulfilling a major campaign promise, President Trump immediately ordered a sweeping review of all federal gun regulations, with a particular focus on the contentious pistol brace rule that had sparked heated debate across the country. In March, Department of Justice lawyers took the significant step of pausing their appeal in the high-profile Mock v. Garland case, signaling a likely retreat from defending the pistol brace rule in federal court. This move strongly suggested that the administration was preparing to abandon its previous legal arguments and that a major policy shift was underway behind closed doors. The Trump DOJ's reversal sent a clear and unmistakable message. The federal government would no longer defend the pistol brace rule in court, a dramatic departure from the previous administration's stance. This decision was closely aligned with the administration's strong pro-Second Amendment position, and it also avoided the risk of a potentially unfavorable Supreme Court ruling that could have set a lasting precedent. The DOJ is now widely expected to withdraw its appeal, agree to a nationwide injunction, or even begin the process of formally repealing the rule altogether, signaling a complete change in direction. By ending its defense, the administration effectively made the rule unenforceable, lifting the looming legal threat from millions of gun owners and restoring a sense of relief among firearm enthusiasts nationwide. This was a complete and unequivocal policy reversal, driven by new leadership and a bold new vision for the future of federal gun regulation in America. Amid the heated pistol brace fight, a Supreme Court case, New York State Rifle and Pistol Association v. Bruen, transformed Second Amendment law in a dramatic way. Decided in 2022, Bruen replaced the old balancing test with a new, much stricter standard. Gun laws must now align with the nation's historical tradition. Now, the government must show that any firearm regulation has a clear historical analog from the 18th or 19th centuries to justify its existence. This forces judges to act as historians, combing through centuries-old laws and precedents to judge modern regulations. Bruen has quickly become the main weapon in legal challenges to gun laws, including the controversial pistol brace rule. The result, a wave of litigation and a chaotic, confusing patchwork of conflicting lower court decisions. Some courts have upheld restrictions using questionable historical examples, while others have struck down long-standing laws. Instead of clarity, Bruen has injected new complexity and unpredictability into Second Amendment cases across the country. The Supreme Court's Bruen decision has become a powerful tool for gun rights advocates, and its logic is now being used to challenge the National Firearms Act, the backbone of federal gun regulation since 1934. For decades, the NFA has set strict boundaries on what firearms Americans can own, but that foundation is now being shaken. The NFA's strict rules on short-barreled rifles, suppressors, and machine guns are under fire for lacking historical precedent. Critics argue that these regulations were based more on fear and politics than on any real tradition of gun control in American history. In January 2025, a federal judge in Mississippi ruled the post-1986 machine gun ban unconstitutional, citing Bruen as the key reason for overturning decades of established law. The decision, now on appeal, sent shockwaves through the legal world. Legal experts and gun control advocates alike were stunned by the boldness of the ruling and its potential implications. Suppressors are also a battleground, with advocates arguing they're safety devices that protect hearing and reduce noise pollution, and that NFA regulation is irrational and unconstitutional. Opponents say the rules are outdated and unnecessarily burdensome. Gun rights groups are urging the Trump administration to stop defending NFA rules in court and to streamline the lengthy and complicated approval process for these items. The focus has shifted from fighting new restrictions to dismantling nearly a century of existing ones, as activists push to roll back laws that have stood for generations. With a sympathetic executive branch and a powerful new legal test, gun rights advocates see an unprecedented chance to deregulate NFA items and reshape the landscape of American gun law. The very constitutionality of machine gun and suppressor bans is now in serious question, and the outcome of these legal battles could redefine the future of gun ownership in the United States. For millions of Americans, these rapid legal and political changes bring both relief and confusion. The end of the pistol brace rule is a clear win for gun owners, but the broader implications of Bruen have created legal uncertainty. The status of many gun laws now depends on which court you're in and how a judge interprets history. Conflicting rulings mean the legality of certain firearms can change month to month. The next few years will be critical as the Supreme Court may need to clarify its Bruen test and resolve the chaos. The Rahimi case showed the court's willingness to add nuance, but left core questions unsettled. America is renegotiating the balance between gun rights and public safety. The Trump administration's actions will accelerate this trend. For everyday Americans, staying informed is crucial. The future of gun law is still being written.